Okay. You said everybody from 8 o'clock was here except for who?
Normally.
Okay. We have, what are we doing on Blevins? Blevins here?
Yes.
Your Honor, at 8:18, I went out and called the hall for the complaining witness, Elizabeth Desmond. She's not present.
Did your office have contact?
Not in the last several, not in the last several months. They pull up the files to insert with that. But I have not spoken to her in the last 2 weeks when this case was on my docket.
Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Trinity Justice Blevins, file number 21-00691. Council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly. Trinity Blevins is present in the hallway. If you would like me to go get her.
Yes, please.
Trinity? Oh, you want her present? Yeah. Here, just, yeah, I'll wait.
Today was the date scheduled for a final pretrial. And this matter was scheduled for jury trial next week, September 20th. My understanding is that the necessary witnesses has failed to appear. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. And if I may, we had subpoenaed Alyssa Ledesma. She has not appeared today. Our offices had no contact with her since July of 2021.
Okay. Ms. Donnelly.
With that, Your Honor, we would motion for this case to be dismissed.
This case will be dismissed without prejudice. That simply means that it's going to be dismissed today. However, the people do have the right to reissue the charge if Ms. Ledesma later makes contact with them and says she wants to proceed with the case, okay? So you'll get a copy of the dismissal in just a moment. Do you have any questions?
With it being dismissed, does that mean it will be off my permanent record for at least for right now, as long as it's dropped?
You don't have a conviction on your record, but there is an arrest record. So you're concerned about getting that removed. Is that where your concern is?
Yeah, kind of, due to what my schooling major is, kind of messes it up.
You should talk to Ms. Donnelly about how you get that removed from your arrest record, okay? Any additional matters for the record?
None for the people.
None for defense.
Okay, have a seat. We'll get you a copy, okay?
Yeah.
Can we have, so we have Jackson, Newton, and Rodriguez all here?
Oh, Don was a bench warrant. Sean,
We'll do a bench warrant on Donnelly.
okay, me, Sean.
No Donnelly.
1, 2, 3. This is Donnelly's fourth bench warrant.
I don't think so. I think we just got has me. Oh, no, I do. I see, no, he has a felony. I have a sentence, supposed to have a sentence. You gave him a temporary order?
Okay.
I think I gave it to Sean. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Nishan Johan Jackson. File number is 22-02028. Can I have your appearances, please?
Chris Martin, people.
And Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant Nishan Jackson, who is present and standing to my right.
How are you, Mr. Jackson?
Good, you?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. Today's the date that is scheduled for a final pretrial. Your matter was scheduled for jury trial on September 20th. Are the necessary witnesses present?
Your Honor, people subpoenaed witness Marissa Bustinza. She's not present today. We have had contact with her, but she expressed reluctance.
Okay, so Ms. Donnelly.
Yes, Your Honor, we would be motioning for this case to be dismissed without prejudice.
The motion will be granted. The case will be dismissed today. The with prejudice or without prejudice part simply means that if the necessary witness later is ready to proceed, the prosecution does have the right to reissue the charge against you. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you sit tight, we'll get you a copy of the dismissal and then you'll be on your way, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Sorry,
You're fine.
trying to do too many things at once.
Is Mr. Newton?
Yes, ma'am.
We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Robert Newton, file number 22-01764, council appearance.
Chris Martin, people.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant Joshua Newton, who is present and standing to my right.
How are you, Mr. Newton?
Great.
Today is the date scheduled for final pretrial. This matter is scheduled for jury trial on September 20th at 8 a.m. How are we proceeding?
Good. Your Honor, the people subpoenaed Marcelo Garcia in this matter. He has not appeared. I do not believe we've had contact with him.
Ms. Donnelly,
We would be motioning to dismiss this case without prejudice.
your motion will be granted. The case will be dismissed today. However, if the necessary witness does appear ready to proceed, the prosecution can reissue the charge against you. Do you understand that? Do
Yes, ma'am.
you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. If you guys have a seat outside, we'll get you a copy of your dismissal, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I have a sentencing file on Asher? Got it for probation?
It doesn't, it just says sentencing, so not referred to probation.
I'm not
Why
following what
does it
happened.
say-
Did he take a plea?
It says the plea hearing was held in Wilkie County.
My,
Scheduled for sentencing 9/13.
when did he plea?
August 3rd.
Oh. Is it a plea to the- We couldn't have possibly referred him to,
Not that bad.
yeah. Oh, he pled to disturbing the peace. That's why. Someone needs to prove himself. Oh, that's true. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus David Joseph Rodriguez. File number is 22-02062. Have your appearances, please.
Chris Martin for people.
Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant, David Rodriguez, with attorney standing to my right.
Mr. Rodriguez, how are you?
Good.
Today's the date that was scheduled for final pretrial. Your matter was set to go to a jury trial next week on the 20th. How are we proceeding, Mr. Martin?
Your Honor, people subpoenaed Shatita Russell in this case, and she has not appeared. We have not had contact.
Ms. Donnelly.
We would be motioning to dismiss the case without prejudice.
The motion will be granted. The case will be dismissed today. It simply means that if the necessary witness is making herself available at another time, the prosecution would have the right then to reissue the charge against you. Do you understand that? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions? Okay, if you sit tight, we'll get you a copy of your dismissal and you'll be on your way, okay? Now the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Benjamin Asher. File number is 22-01230 SM. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant, Benjamin Asher, who is appearing separately by video.
Okay, today was the date that was set for sentencing. Mr. Asher was before the court back on the 30th of August. Pled guilty, pled no contest to add count of disturbing the peace. There was a sentencing agreement of no upfront jail. The victim, we set it for sentencing because there was a victim. The victim is elected not to appear, but did submit a victim impact statement. Identifying that as a result of the incident, they were scared to go back to work and now they won't go into that section of the hospital without security with them. She indicates that her neck was sore from the attack. She also indicates that as it relates to how she believes he should be sentenced, she just wants him to get some counseling so he can get better and never attack a healthcare worker again. And she was just attempting or trying to help him. She states also that she was scared when he had his hands around her neck because he's so much bigger than she is. And she is scared he was going to hurt her more than he did. And she does not want to be scared while trying to help a patient. And so I did not refer him to probation for a pre-sentence report at the time. And my understanding at the time of his arraignment is that he was already ordered to continue his mental health treatment and take medication as prescribed. My understanding is that he's still compliant with that.
Yes, he attends therapy every 3 weeks at the New Oakland Family Center and has medication. He takes them regularly.
Okay, Mr. Asher, how are you feeling?
I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, and you've been compliant with the your medical and health treatment and you're taking your medication?
Absolutely. I'd like to add that after the incident, I attended a 2-week day program, which was very helpful. And at the time immediately after the incident, I was seeing my therapist weekly. And at this point, we have reduced it to once every 3 weeks because of the progress that I've made.
Okay, I'll allow you to proceed with allocution.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, today, just wanted to say happy birthday to Mr. Asher. He turned, he aged today. I'm not gonna put out his age there right now. But he is, he said, reported that he's never been in trouble, or as he pled no contest, he doesn't remember this incident, but he does know that he was taken to the hospital because of mental health issues. And he, obviously he regrets and he's very sorry for whatever harm he caused to the staff at Sparrow. As he reports, he did immediately take it seriously and get help, and he's still getting help. He's kind of in a better place now. I think the diagnosis was PTSD, right, Mr. Asher?
Correct.
And then from traumatic experiences. Uh, I don't think it wasn't anything to do with being in the military, but he just had a traumatic life up to this point. But he is doing better. He's living with his fiance on a homestead, so he does a lot of work around their property. So he finds it very fulfilling. He finds the purpose in that, and obviously he finds great benefit in his treatment. So again, he definitely, I don't believe, wanted this to happen, but I think he did. I think he's doing what he's supposed to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And so for those reasons, Your Honor, we would just be asking, if at all possible, waiving discretionary fines. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Asher, did you want to make any further statement? You're not required to. I just want to give you an opportunity if you did.
No, Your Honor, that sums it up pretty well.
Okay, thank you. Again, there was a Killebrew sentencing agreement about how you would be sentenced, and that agreement was Killebrew to no upfront jail. You pled guilty to a reduced charge of disturbing the peace. I typically would not sentence someone to jail time when disturbing the peace. These particular situations in which you don't even have a recollection of the incident because you were under a mental health break of some sort. I mean, it's unfortunate because we do have a victim who had some impact and who has suffered because of the incident. But this took place at a hospital, which is where sick people have to go. The lesson here, though, is that you have to remain compliant with whatever your medical treatment orders are, and compliant with taking your medication as prescribed. And I don't know that you were doing that at that time, but it sounds like since this incident, you've been doing that. You've appeared before the court. You seem to be in a much better space since that time. And so I think a sentence of fines and costs are appropriate. I do also recognize that not only was this an issue involving mental illness, but you're also indigent. And so it's not meaningful to lading you with fines and costs relative to an incident that occurred while you were having a mental or mental health break. At this point, what I'm going to do, there are some statutory fines and costs that I cannot waive, and so those will be imposed. One of those is a $75 crime victim rights fee that must be imposed, plus a $50 state minimum cost. I'm going to waive any discretionary fines and costs at this time. It's a total of $125. I'm also going to order that you remain compliant with your with your medical treatment, and also remain compliant with taking your medications as prescribed. When can you make payment on the 125?
Immediately. How do I go about that?
You can actually go to the court website. And once you get there, you will use this case number 22-01230, and it will pull up what you owe, your disposition. You probably want to give us a few minutes. We can get that into the system though, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I could take care of that today.
Do you have any questions today, sir?
I don't.
Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, you're all set, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Do I need to sign that as a team?
Yeah, I get you. So, yeah, thanks, sir.
Have the animal control report on my issue blasted? I don't. I didn't know.
That's what we talked about a couple weeks ago.
No, she's new this year. Or this week, proper burial.
She here?
She's at 9:30.
See what I got. Hmm. Do you have a police report? See what it says. Yeah, I got a police report.
Okay, all right, I'll just like, might read it, resend my, that's usually what I do.
You want to get a new pre-trial date on that?
Was that?
Want to get a new pre-trial date on that?
Yes, I'm gonna have to renew that, I'm gonna have to renew that.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and take care of that now.
Oh, sure, if you want to.
Put a copy of tomorrow's docket. Apparently I signed up to be a mentor. Do some. Okay. Noon or something. It's freezing in here.
What? I swear.
Are you? It's freezing in here. I'm okay right now.
It's probably 61 degrees.
No, it's at lunchtime. I just need to log in at 11:45.
I'm like,
Oh, we're good. It's just it's like a speed mentoring thingy that they do.
oh,
Yeah. And they sent an email to log in at 11:45. We should be done. We only have 2 things on it at 11. But boy, oh boy,
yeah.
we have big fun in store tomorrow.
Tomorrow, your landlord tenant day?
It is, and it is jam-packed. Okay, quick, we don't need, we have one thing at 9:15. 9:30. That's a show call at 9:15, so we don't have anything till 9:30.
Then Camille Allen at 10. I got body worn camera, but no police.
That's interesting.